Evening. Good evening, family. Good evening. Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. Welcome to spring. Spring has sprung. Spring has sprung. Spring has come in with whatever spring wants to come in with. Spring has given us winter, spring, summer, and fall, all in probably 24 hours. All in 24 hours. I am grateful to God once again for being here. Grateful for another Monday night that we are able to come together to share with one another, time of coming together to understand things about ourselves, understand things about this life, just living in the moment and beyond the moment, living within our moments and just every moment of life. Thank God. Hi to everybody that's on. I thank God for you all being here. Thank God for sparing us after so many things that have happened in this world, so many things that have gone on, so many topics, so many incidents and occurrences. Thank God for allowing us to see Resurrection Sunday and to thank him for his sacrifice on the cross for us so that we could live. Thanking God that, that he resurrected so that we could have the right to the tree of life, so that our minds could be right, so that our hearts, our minds, and our souls could be right. Just grateful to God for another night. I wanted to, the topic that I have tonight is one that I think that as we get into the warm weather, the warm season of things, it's a topic that I think that we all do, not just, we do it. I think we do this at various points within our lives. And it's just the ability or the action, the behavior of reflecting on life, just looking back. This is, there are certain points in our lives and I can only speak for myself, but because I can speak for myself and I have talked to others, I do realize that I'm not the only one that reflects on certain aspects of my life at certain times. There are certain times of my life that I reflect on my living. I reflect on things I've done, things I haven't done, things that I, decisions that I've made, how my life is looking, am I satisfied? Is God satisfied with me? Just different things in life. So tonight I want to talk about reflections. But before I talk about reflections, I know that I have been talking about this for a while, and I do want to mention it before I get into the discussion, because I know that sometimes I get into the discussion and I just, I just go, we just going, But I would like to say that the Lord has blessed, and I have written my second book. My second book, the title of it is The Hurt That Helps. This is my proof. So I got my proofs, but the book is available on Amazon. I will be posting the Amazon the site, and so I will be posting that pretty soon, but the book is available on Amazon. I am so grateful to God to have been able to write this book. There are a lot of mental challenges, a lot of mental thoughts, a lot of spiritual mental thoughts that goes into living. And I believe that the Lord has allowed me, he has graced me with the ability to be sensitive to life. And this is not anything that I'm bragging about, but because I remember, I can testify within myself that there was a time when I was numb. You can ask my sisters. I didn't cry. I was very emotionless. I was very emotionless. And so now that, the Lord has delivered my spirit and delivered my soul into the freedom of living and the freedom of loving, I feel like my emotions, my sensitivity, my compassions are overwhelming. They can be a bit overwhelming at times, but I do thank God that He regulates who I am. He regulates who I am, and I'm so grateful to Him for being able to regulate who I am and how I respond, because I know in Him is no failure. So I put who I am in Him. I put who I am in Him, and I'm grateful for being able to love, being able to feel, being able to cry, being able to identify and recognize and see others' situations, and to be able to share share in the feelings, just as you share in the victory. No one wants to cry alone. No one wants to cry alone. Even if we do, and even if sometimes we want to be alone, the truth is that we really don't want to cry alone, just as we don't want to be happy alone either. So thank God. He allowed me to write this book. The title of it is The Hurt That Helped. It goes through the journey. It basically goes through the journey of healing and how, if we properly put life's situations and life's hurts in its proper place, we can allow the hurt to do what it's supposed to do. There is a job that hurt plays in our lives. And if we don't allow ourselves to process it, or if we allow it to process wrong, we'll never get the benefit of actually getting through it and getting the victory of its purpose, because there is a purpose. There's a purpose to it. I think about Jesus having gone to the cross. We just celebrated Resurrection Sunday, and Jesus went to the cross. And he had to go through that hurt in order to sit on the right hand of the Father. He left his throne, went through the hurt to get the victory. And so, and so you think about the process that the Lord allows us to go through. There is a purpose for the hurt. And the purpose for the hurt, if processed properly, will always lead us to our victory. But if I don't allow it to process properly, then I will never see the victory that I'm supposed to have in it. So I'm just encouraging you, when I do drop the link, if you would go and support me and support this vision that the Lord has given, and buy the book. I pray that you will be able to get something out of it that would encourage you and to move forward and to grow. Sometimes we don't understand things, but God does. And because He does, He has the victory, and He holds the victory of our lives in His hand. And so we thank Him for processing us and allowing us to get to the victory of life. So I wanted to say that, and with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the lesson. So tonight, I want to talk about reflection. This is the time, as we move into the warmer weather, we move into the warmer seasons, there's some things that we may or may not have, some decisions, some vows, some what you call them? Somebody help me out. Resolutions. Thank you. Some resolutions that we make at the beginning of the year. And then by the time April comes, or like towards the end of March, April, May, we begin to evaluate those resolutions. We begin to see whether or not these are things that we have accomplished, if we've kept our word to ourselves, and and so this is our time of reflecting, right? Looking back at the first 3 months of 2026, we want to try and identify our intentions versus our actual actions. Sometimes we do have good intentions, and we say that we're going to do things, and then we look and you say, well, what did I actually do? What did I actually do? And this is not a time of mourning. This is a time of self-integrity. And this is the time for us to be honest with ourselves, because the one gift that we do have as the Lord spares our life is the gift of a new day. And with a new day comes brand new mercies. And with those mercies comes the ability to start over. And thank God and sometimes we're not only having to start over, sometimes we have to begin. And so sometimes this reflection is a reflection to start over, or a reflection to begin again, or to begin in the first place. Okay. And we're looking at our awareness before our adjustment. So tonight I want to look at a couple of scriptures that deal with our self-evaluation. Some of these scriptures that deal with ourselves in our reflection. Haggai, the first chapter, verse 5 says, "Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways." So God is looking at us and he's telling us, look, before you even, just start looking at what hindered you or what stopped you, or before your reflection is looked outward before inward, let's start inward and consider your ways. And so at this point in the beginning, from the beginning, let's look at my ways. Let me look at my ways. Let me see if I am truly honest with myself, because there are some things that I said I was going to do, and I knew when I said them I wasn't going to do them. I really did, So it's a matter of being honest with myself, and not only being honest with myself, but making my honesty achievable. Making my honesty achievable. So if I, say for instance, my resolution could be to eat properly, right? To start eating properly. Well, the truth is that I don't need to say I'm going to just become a vegetarian and just start eating vegetables, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that's unrealistic for me. Now, for some people that may be realistic but for me, that's unrealistic. So what I can say is, I want to start eating healthy. So maybe what I can do is I can make sure that my dinner is always something that, is fortified with vegetables and this, that, and the other thing, but making sure that there is something that I can do that is achievable, instead of just launching out into the deep, knowing good and well that I don't know how to fish. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. There's some things that you deeply have to be honest with yourself. Even if you want to reach a massive goal, or you want to attain something that really, really is deep and it goes beyond, the truth is that you have to start with the reality of something that is achievable. Right? And so I have to consider my ways. I have to look within myself and see who I am, and not fool myself into thinking that I'm somebody that I'm not. Right? And so God is telling us here in Haggai 1:5, consider your ways. Look at yourself. Be honest with you. And then Psalm 90:12 says, so teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Lord, help me not to waste my days. Even because the thing is this, How many of us, and I know I'm not by myself, how many of us set goals that are so unachievable that we never begin the process of trying to even work the goal? How many of us, how many you say, okay, I'm going to start this on Monday, and Monday never comes. Monday never comes because you keep saying, okay, I'm going to do it another day. I'm going to do it this day. I'm going to do it this day. Or it seems so hard to do that you never get started. You know, sometimes we look and we say, I'm a work in progress. You know, I'm a work in progress, but you never allow the work to get started. You never allow the work to get started. So you can't progress something that never gets started. You know, that's like never going to school, and then you go to your teacher and you say, okay, I want to get my progress report. You don't have a progress report because you never showed up. You never showed up. And so the thing is this, you know, we want to realize that our days are living in this life. We can live for years and years and years, but our days are numbered. Our days are numbered. And in this living, with me realizing that my days are numbered, I want to make sure that I apply wisdom to my life. I apply wisdom to my life and not waste the life that I am given. Lord, have mercy. Lord, help me not to waste the life that I am given. You know, help me to do the things that the Lord has strengthened me to do, not the things that I want to do, because sometimes the things that I want to do are just time wasters. They really are. They're time wasters. I can honestly say there are times when I say, okay, I know I have to clean something. You know, like say if I have to, say if I have to clean the whole house, right? I have to clean the whole house, but I can't get started cleaning the house until I clean my car. Now, my car has nothing to do with the house, right? But because I don't want to clean the house, I will find something else to distract me, because what I have to tackle is so big. So the thing is that what I have to realize is that what I should do is I should tackle what I have to tackle in little, you know, I have to chop it up. So that, yeah, make it measurable, right? Do it smart goals, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time specific, time bound. Yes. So I have to make them small enough for me to reach the goal. Because the thing is this, if I have to tackle my whole entire house, but I go outside and I clean the car, but I still haven't taken care of what I needed to take care of. At least if I get started in the house, I've gotten started, right? I've gotten started. So I have to realize that my days are short. My days are numbered. And because my days are numbered, I don't want to take for granted the life that I am living. Okay. Now in this reflection, like I said, this is not a moment of mourning. This is not a time where we want to mourn and look at all the things that we haven't done. We do want to look at them because we want to be honest. You know, we want to be honest. Sometimes we don't look at what we haven't done because we don't want to face it and we don't want to address it. But it does have a way of creeping back up on us. And so if reflection doesn't occur properly, it can take a toll on our mental and our spiritual and our emotional life. Okay? The weight of reflection can sometimes feel heavy, but we all do it. It's not like you say, okay, because this is too much for me to deal with, I'm just not going to deal with it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There are going to be times where there's different There's different situations that we come in contact with. There are going to be times when we haven't dealt with our emotions with people, and we can say, okay, I don't want to deal with it, but it's going to surface. It's going to surface, and it's going to come up, and it's going to have an emotional toll on us. And so this is why in reflecting, you want to stay out your head. You want to stay out your head, stay out your head. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. But we want to reflect more so with our spirit. Let me reflect more with my spirit, because if my spirit can get energized, if my spirit can feel the strength from God that I need, then I'll be able to achieve some things. I'll be able to achieve some things, because God is spirit, and in our weakness, his strength is made perfect. Right? Okay, so before we can move forward, we have to look back. Honestly, we have to look back. But the truth is, reflection can shake our mental, emotional, and spiritual stability, because when we pause long enough to evaluate our lives, we don't just see the progress. And if we are a self-abuser, if we are a self-abuser, we will see more of our negative than our positive. There's some people who only see their positive. I don't know who many, there's some people who really only see the positive aspects of their lives, but more often than not, we see our lack of progress. And that's how the enemy gets us, because he doesn't want us to focus on the positive. He wants us to focus on the negative. Or if he has us focusing on the positive, we're so far focused that nobody else can redirect us and put us in the right direction. We're just off the map, just off the grid. Okay? But we don't just see our progress. We also see what we didn't do. We see what we avoided, what didn't work, what we lost, who we were trying to be, and that can all feel overwhelming. It can feel so overwhelming, too overwhelming. The mental toll, confronting reality versus avoiding it. Okay, going back to Haggai, the first chapter, verse 5, and considering our ways. When we truly consider our ways, our mind has to process our inconsistencies, our missed opportunities, our lack of discipline, and our unclear direction. All of these things come into focus when we're reflecting and looking at the things that we have or have not achieved. And more so often, we're looking at the things that we haven't achieved. And so this is why we have to stay out of our minds. And when we're reflecting, and then our minds begin to take over, we begin to overthink. We compare ourselves to other people, especially during the summer months. I'm telling you, during these warm months, you're on your phones more, and the social media doesn't help. Social media doesn't help. You may see the progress of somebody else. Someone else has been putting up the progress that they've been making. And before long, you see how much of what you did not do. Even though you two could not have the same goals, but because you've been watching them so much, instead of moving for yourself, you see the progress that they've been making and the lack of progress that you've been making. Oh, my goodness. We begin to criticize ourselves, and that criticism gets louder and louder. It has such a loud voice, and we become confused about what we are to do now. And so now, not only, and what happens then? Sometimes what we do is we take the goals that we've already set and we pile on more goals instead of trying to tackle some of the things that we've already said. Oh my goodness, we overwhelm ourselves even more. And our minds begin to ask, why didn't I do better? Am I behind? Did I waste time? What haven't I done? This person is doing that. This person is doing this. And I feel so far behind. I feel so stuck. I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I'm behind. Behind is in front of me, and I'm still trying to catch up. not realizing that there are things that we have achieved. There are things that we have achieved. If we are living and if we are still breathing, there are things that we have achieved. But our life and life's experience will have us focus on the negative if we don't reflect properly. Romans 8:1 says, there is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. So again, in me, yes, self-sabotage. Lord have mercy. It is if Christ doesn't condemn me, even in me wanting to build my relationship with him, and I haven't completely done, I haven't met the mark of what I stated that I was going to do for the building of my relationship with him. The mercies of God allows me the opportunity to build that relationship. And the thing is this, the beauty that I have is that the desire has not left. That is an achievement in itself. Because we can become so lax and we can become so complacent with how life is that we don't reach towards, we don't continue to have that desire to build that relationship. But as long as I have that desire, we can work with the desire. God can work with our desire. Right? He said that if we seek him diligently, that he will give us the desire of our heart. Right? So he can work with the desire as long as we seek him diligently. And so I'm running after him to tap him to find out, what is it that you want me to desire? Because I know that if I ask God what he wants me to desire, then whatever he tells me to do, if I put my all into that, and if I accomplish that, I will never fail. Because God is not going to put strength in a desire that he has that won't become victorious. He will not put strength in a desire that he has for us that won't become victorious. So if I'm running after God for him to give me the desire that I'm supposed to have, so that I can stop feeling like I haven't achieved anything, because that's what the enemy wants us to feel, as though we haven't achieved anything. And so when we're reflecting on all the have-nots or all the haven't dones. And I know I'm not just speaking for myself, because Lord have mercy, these years of living, redirect my focus, Father, redirect. Okay. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to reflect to punish ourselves. We don't want to reflect to, to replace why did I fail? To ask why did I fail? What we want to do is we want to reflect to understand ourselves. Help me to understand me. If I'm a procrastinator, Lord, help me to work through my procrastination. Trying to get it out. Yeah, help me to work through my procrastination. I remember when I was in school, and I was talking to my niece about this, and she was like, I don't know what it is about me, but I work well under pressure. And this is something that we say. Yes, we work well under pressure, but the thing is that God wants us to change that, because we're supposed to prepare and plan, right? But we do work well. And I know I've said it. When I was in school, I worked well under pressure. If there was a term paper due, I could have weeks and months to do it. And it seemed like no thought would come to mind. I would even sit down to paper to try and complete the work. And it seemed like nothing would come. I would get writer's block. But a couple of hours before the paper is due, it's like everything would come to my mind, and now I look back on it and I say, I wonder, did all that make sense? Now, granted, I got the grades that I got. I got good grades, but it's like you wonder if all of that made sense, and how do you filter out what you need versus what you don't need if at the last minute everything is coming in? So Lord, help me in that respect. So, and I'm reflecting to understand who I am and how I operate, and asking God, Lord, do you want me to operate like this, or do you not want me to operate like this? And if you don't want me to operate like this, help me to operate right. Help me to operate right, so that the things that I am wanting to achieve, let me know whether or not these are things that I really should work towards. That there's some things, that there's some goals that we set, and literally the Lord's like, I didn't even create you for that. You're going to waste your time. You're going to waste your time. And the reason why we can't do it, the reason why we can't get started is because the Lord doesn't want us to finish. He doesn't want us to get started because he doesn't want us to get finished, because it's a time waster. So we have to replace why did I fail with what did I learn? What did I learn? So in those reflections, why did I fail? And then replace it with what did I learn? And give your mind truth to stand on, not just facts to process. Not just facts to process, but give yourself truth to stand on, because in those truths is where we can function and operate. Because if I understand my foundation, then I can build the house, right? If I understand the foundation of the house, then I can build on the house, because sometimes the foundation might need to be rebuilt. The foundation may need to be pulled up. But if I never reflect or understand the truth of the foundation, or if I ignore the truth of the foundation, then I'm going to build the structure, not realizing the whole time that the bottom is messed up. Not realizing the whole entire time that the bottom is messed up. And then when the building falls, I'm wondering why the building fell, is because I never looked at the truth of what the foundation was. All right. There is an emotional toll that reflecting improperly has on us. We face disappointment and unmet expectations. In Proverbs, the 13th chapter, verse 12, it says, hope deferred maketh the heart sick. Jesus. But when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. It is a tree of life. So when the things that I've hoped for, when they don't come, or when they're unmet, or if I don't accomplish these things, it can make me sick. It can make my stomach hurt, make your stomach hurt, But when the thing that I've desired, when that thing comes, hallelujah. When that thing comes, when I've desired something and I've worked towards it, and the Lord says yes, and I say yes, and all of that yes comes together and is strengthened, and I'm able to accomplish the goal, it is a tree of life. And it is literally a tree of life, because now I have sustainment. I have something that is sustainable, because it not only was it achievable, but it was accomplished, right? Reflection often exposes goals that we didn't reach, habits that we didn't maintain, relationships that didn't improve, expectations that didn't happen. And so emotionally, what happens is we get disappointed, frustrated, guilt sets in, regret sets in, even grief. And sometimes we're not even just grieving outcomes. Sometimes we're grieving the version of ourselves that we thought we would be and where we would be by now. And we look back and you say, I should have been here by now. I should have done this, and I should have did that, and I should have, not realizing that, yes, maybe all of those things are true, but what's stopping us from attaining that right now, here in the here and now? What's stopping us from achieving whatever it is that we have to achieve at the moment, right? So what we have to do is we have to allow ourselves to feel without staying stuck, right? Allow yourself to feel without staying stuck. Sometimes even in mistakes, I know so many people who have made a mistake and stayed in the mistake. Don't stay in the mistake. Don't stay in the mistake. It's never good to stay in the mistake, right? So I done it. I did it now, so I might as well stay here. No, that is not true. That is not true. You go outside and it's raining outside and you don't have an umbrella. Doesn't mean that you need to stand outside and stay in the rain. No, get in the house. Get in the car. Get somewhere where there is shelter, right? And that's the same thing. Don't stay in the mistake. If emotions are not processed, they turn into avoidance, numbness, giving up prematurely. So allow yourself to move from staying stuck, okay? Name the emotion. Name the emotion. Tell yourself, I feel, because sometimes I remember when I used to ask my daughter, I said, how do you feel right now? She's like, I don't know. She was little. She's like, I don't know. I said, yes, you do. Yes, you do. You may not want to say what you know, but you do know. And so we work through putting a name to it and putting words to our feelings, because what we never want to do is never want to leave a question mark on our feelings, because if we can leave a question mark in our feelings, the enemy will always answer the question mark. If we leave our feelings and our emotions in a question, if we say we don't know what our feelings are, if we say we can't explain it, if we leave that open, if we leave that open-ended emotion, the enemy will always come in and fill in whatever emotion, whatever void, whatever wrong he wants to fill in, he will always come in and fill it in, because we left it open for him. But if we name it and put a name to it, if we title it, then we can take that title. Look at this. We can take that title and we can go to God and we can ask God to take care of the title. Just like my little baby right now. I don't know what he wants, but he wants something. He wants something, and he knows what he wants, and he's making it sure that Mama will know that he wants something. Now, I hope his mother comes and fulfills that need for him right now. You understand what I'm saying? I hope his mom comes and takes care of that, because Mama is right here on this side. Yes. Okay. So, yes. There he is. Okay. So she's taking care of it. But see that I always have an example, because this is my house and this is life. This is my house and this is life. Okay? So Psalm 34:18 says, the Lord is nigh unto them. Poor little thing. I'm going to bring him in next time. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. So that's just letting us know that God is not God, just like me with my baby. I'm not going to hear him cry and it doesn't do something to me. Now, if his mama wasn't here, then I would go out there. Of course, first of all, he probably wouldn't be on the outside anyway. But if his mama wasn't here, then I would have to go and find out what's going on with my baby, because he's crying and his heart is hurting. God never listens to us cry. He never listens to us cry and say, oh, well, I'm just going to let them figure it out on their own. He never did. Even from the fall, he never allowed. He had already set up a plan for us to be redeemed back to him, for us to be reconciled back to him, for us to be delivered. From the fall, he set it up because he doesn't want us to perish. He created us, and he didn't, even in our freedom to choose, he still doesn't want to force us to choose, because he knows that forcing us will mess us up emotionally. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? He could force us to choose him. He could force us to serve him, but he still doesn't force us to serve him, because he wants what he created to have the liberty to choose, to have the freedom to choose him. I tell you, God is a good God. All right. I am going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there because, well, I will do spiritual toll. I will this will be the last one. The spiritual toll that it has, that if we're reflecting the spiritual toll that it can have on our lives, is that we begin to question purpose, our progress, and direction. We begin to question whether or not we're moving in the right direction. Lamentations 3:40 says, "Let us examine our ways and return to the Lord." Let us examine our ways and return to the Lord. So it's not just a matter of examining my ways and seeing how I am and seeing who I am and just keep it moving. No, I have to return to my Creator. I have to return to my first love. I have to return to the one who made me so that I can have an understanding of what He wants me to do. And I can have an understanding so that when I do these reflections, my reflections can have more of a positive outlook, right? So when we're reflecting, and our spiritual aspect of our reflection can ask questions like, am I aligned with God? Did I miss His timing? Am I doing what I'm called to do? And Lord, have mercy. Oh my goodness. If you're trying your best, at life and trying to please God, and you know, sometimes that's why I say this social media, and you know, some things just can have such a toll on us. But you begin to wonder, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right spot? Am I in the right place? Did I miss something? Did I miss God's direction? Did I miss when He told me to move? Did I miss when He told me to stay? Did I miss turning to the right? Did He tell me to go left and I went in the wrong direction? Did I miss something? Was there something that I missed? You know, and so, you know, in our reflection is that my reflection in answering those questions, I have to find out, how much did I seek God in that time? How much did I seek Him in that time? You know, and so what can happen spiritually is doubt can begin to surface. Distance from God may feel more noticeable. You start to notice that your relationship with God, like you know, you may say, there was a time when God would speak to me and He doesn't speak anymore. There was a time when God would show me things in dreams and I don't see those things in dreams. That, you know, God would give me visions and I don't see those visions anymore. God would, you know, speak to me, or, you know, but I can't hear Him. I can't hear Him, you know, and so our doubt begins to sit in, and conviction may increase. So we begin to convict our own selves, you know, and we may begin to feel exposed or unsettled. And this is the time when we begin to, you know, if not careful, we can make hasty decisions, you know, or try to create things on our own, things that don't align with what God has in store for us and where God will have us to go. And so, you know, so our instructions for that, you know, is to pray honestly with God, pray honestly to God, and be honest with Him. You know, Lord, you know, I really feel like, you know, I was left behind. I feel like I'm left behind. I feel like I don't know where I'm moving. I don't know where I'm going. And I, you know, I need to hear from You. I need to hear from You. I need You to tell me where I should go. I need my actions. I need my life to align with what You will have for me. I need Your instruction. Not I just want it, but I need it. Because the next time I reflect, I want my reflection to be positive. I want to be satisfied. I want my spirit, my mind, my heart. I want my heart to smile. And the only way I can smile is if I've achieved something that You have told me to do. And so what we have to remember is that in our reflection, in our looking back, in my taking a gander of the things that I said I was going to do, and the things that I wanted to do, and the things that I haven't done, evaluate why they weren't done. You know, there may be justifiable reasons. There may be justifiable reasons. At the same time, I want to make sure that I don't allow those reasons to make me stuck. I don't allow those reasons to keep me from moving forward. I evaluate where I am. I evaluate what may have gotten me stuck. But then in my evaluation, I begin to clear out some things, and I do a deep cleaning. I do a deep cleaning. Yes, a clean heart. Yes, Lord, clean my heart, clean my mind, clean my spirit, and clean my soul, so that only thing that can be filled in is where you want me to go. Where you want me to go and how you want me to get there. How you want me to get there. Give me the tools that I need in order to move forward. Because if I move forward in you, then I know I'm reaching towards success. I know that I'm moving towards success. You know, we have to be intentional and purposeful. So that when I do reflect, I can reflect with 2020. I can reflect with good vision. Right. So that is my discussion for tonight. Let's reflect with good eyes. Let's reflect with a good heart, reflect with a good soul. You know, not beating up on ourselves and not patting ourselves on the back too much, because there's always room for improvement and there's always room to build. You know, anything that stays in one spot is stagnant. And it winds up spoiling. It winds up spoiling. So we don't want to spoil. We want to move forward. We want to strengthen. We want to be strengthened in the Lord. We want to be strengthened to grow, to progress, so that we can reflect, you know, so that we can reflect. So know that I love you all to life. I thank you so much for coming on with me on Mondays. You know, I do enjoy this. I love you all so much. I seriously do. Somebody asked me, why did you start doing the moments? And, you know, and I've testified to this before, because I was in such a tormented mental place that when the Lord delivered me, I said, oh, I'm going to help somebody, because I know I'm not the only one that has been here, you know, walking and talking, looking fine, but totally just, you know, if you could see what went on inside here. Oh, Lord, help us all. But thank God for deliverance. Thank God for bringing us out. Thank God for being able to put to words what we feel so that we can move forward. I love you all so much. I love you to life, and I want you to live. Be blessed. Look for my book. Look for my book and help and buy it, and put a truthful, honest review. Honest review. I want you to be honest, because if, you know, wherever I need to grow, I want to grow. I really, really do. I love you all to life. Be blessed. Have a blessed week. Lord willing, I'll see you next Monday. Love you all.